Subir Bhamik, your take on, in fact, the early trends. I think we've been talking about it, that this was the given, isn't it? 40 seats of the 50 where the BJP is leading, all set to form the government once again in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. What really has worked in the favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Subir Bhamik?
I already said what worked, but let me also draw, don't get carried away too much by this personality factor. The personality factor is also dependent on the tribal equations. Now, interestingly, Pema Khandu is from the Monpa tribe, which is a border tribe. In Tawang, they are preponderant, on the China border. In fact, Monpas live on the other side of the border, also in Chinese occupied Tibet. So, the reason why the BJP has persisted with Pema Khandu is because if they choose somebody from the two bigger tribes, either of them, the other gets alienated. So if there's a big Adi leader from the Adi tribe, the Nishis won't like it, the other tribes may not like it. So Monpas are a relatively smaller tribe compared to Adis and Nishis and all these other tribes. Even the Chakmas are substantial, but many Chakmas don't have citizenship. That's another issue. So here, the idea of the BJP, especially the RSS, which is well grounded there, is to persist with Pema Khandu. He's from Congress. Everybody else is from Congress. Jegong he's been chief minister with three different, jerseys: Congress, regional parties, BJP. So let's get this right. Corruption is not a big issue for the simple reason that the benefits of corruption is passed down to the community. You know how? Sancheta was talking about earlier. Others were talking about, this huge amount of money that is doled out. So the idea of the people is the minister makes, crores. We get thousands, at least during the elections. Yes. So, this whole idea that thoda bahut to humko bhi mil gaya hai, this whole thing. So corruption is not really a big issue. And when the Congress raises the issue of corruption, people can turn around and say, when your people were in power, you are not saints, you did pretty much the same thing. Because at the end of the day, you will find, Sneha, the same kind of guys are circulating, in politics. Somebody was Congress yesterday, now BJP, somebody was in some regional party. But, the elite is a small elite. And they're circulating, the political elite of Arunachal Pradesh. So, so corruption is not really a huge issue there in the way that it can be an issue in place like Bengal.
Right.
Where people will make a big deal out of it.
I want to ask you, yes, Subir Bhamik, be with us. And I'm going to be bringing in Kaushik also for more. Kaushik, this is in fact the dominance of the BJP that prevails in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. But where does this leave the Congress with? It's disadvantaged Congress all the way. When it comes to the cadre, the enthusiasm, the motivation, the leadership which has almost been wiped out, the resources. The Congress really has an uphill task as far as the state of Arunachal Pradesh is concerned, isn't it?
You can imagine the state of Congress when I'll tell you that Congress contested from 19 seats. There are 60 seats and it fielded candidates only in 19 seats. A regional party, NPP, fielded 20 candidates. Exactly. So if you are not even contesting in 1/3 of the seats, then how can you even expect yourself to be a significant player in the state politics? Most of the Congress leaders, the ones who had worked for years and established themselves as leaders, community leaders, they have moved to BJP, some even to NPP. So the party as the organization is not much is left in the Congress. So obviously the future of Congress is very bleak. Unless in say 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, there is a big change at the center and the current BJP then switches to Congress. So if that doesn't happen, I don't see Congress growing at least in next 5 years when Pema Khandu-led BJP government is in power in the state. And if we don't know what happens after June 4th, but if Narendra Modi-led BJP government is in power at the center. So I don't see Congress reviving, at least in near future, in immediate future.
Suhas Chakma, your take. How can the Congress revive here? Also to talk a little about the manner in which the BJP, not in Arunachal Pradesh, but in other states of the Northeast, like we were speaking about, has in fact made these calculations and alliances with the other regional players. admitting that, yes, you are the big brother in this alliance. We are willing to play second fiddle. We are the junior partner. But this, in fact, has enabled the BJP to improve, in fact, its performance, make inroads, build a cadre, which it has done in some parts of the northeastern part of the country. Can the Congress now do something similar in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, where there is very little hope, like Kaushik was telling us about? Suhas Chakma.
No, I do not think there is any possibility for the Congress, simply because BJP comes out of, or BJP's foundation is based on the foundation of the RSS, and the RSS is the largest non-governmental organizations with political purpose, and it has made inroads into each of the communities. So for example, even if you go to Nagaland, RSS has been very active there, and in fact among the Christian dominated states, the Nagas have little problems to accept the the supremacy of the RSS. Whereas if you go to Mizoram, the reaction would be completely different. So one of the reasons why Congress cannot make inroads is because Congress is not, or has not been engaging in this kind of community mobilization. So the RSS goes, in every state and tries to find out which is the smaller community which could be, inducted in some way or the other in its ideological, mooring. So that's one factor. The second factor, I would say, this is actually in a way reflected in Arunachal Pradesh, because the Buddhist lobby in Arunachal Pradesh, which is Pema Khandu, Chief Minister, then the Kiren Rijiju, as well as the Deputy Chief Minister, Chona Main, and the Speaker of the Assembly himself is a Buddhist. Whereas actually dominant communities in Arunachal Pradesh are the Nishis and other Adis. But because they are not, Buddhist, so there is a feeling that Buddhist lobby has been strengthened there, and it's in a way to reflect BJP's ideology. So I do not see Congress making any kind of inroads or being able to revive. But I would also say one thing: if tomorrow there is a change in the government in Delhi, if tomorrow if the against the prediction of the exit poll, if there is an India government, you see the government in Northeast, most of the government in the Northeast, including Assam, will possibly change.
Right now, in fact, that's an interesting point that you've made about a possible, in fact, change in fact, the ruling dispensation in the center, which will have an impact in the northeastern part of the country. Subir Bhaumik, do you agree with that point that Suhas Chakma has made?
No, I'm quite sure. See, there is a tendency in these northeastern states, which are largely, the economies are largely dependent on central assistance, and especially Arunachal, which is a frontline state with China.
True.
All the infrastructure that has been developed there primarily for defense purpose also rubs on positively on the local economy, because if you have a road here for transporting soldiers, you give the local villager an opportunity to transport these beautiful kiwis and other fancy, fruits to the bigger market in Assam and then on to the rest of India. So the point here I'm trying to make is, this is an area where, the states are largely dependent on central assistance, and they know that if they're not with on the same page with the government in center, may not be the same party, but on the same page, then there is trouble. And therefore, there is a tendency to swing along with the government in the center. And Suhas is absolutely right that, if there is a change in center, you will find half these guys taking off their jerseys. It's like Calcutta football transfer. I'm no longer Mohan Bagan, I'm East Bengal from tomorrow. Something like that. You understand? So this is going to happen. You just look at the career of Gegong Apang. The man has been chief minister. That's the permanent thing. In 3 different incarnations. Regional party, Congress, first Congress, then regional party, then finally BJP. So, there's nothing much about political loyalties here. It's not Bengal, where a CPM guy will stick to CPM. A Trinamool guy preferably will stick to Trinamool, though there has been some movement here and there.
Right.
And the BJP guy, so here in Northeast, it's political pragmatism, it's adjustment with the center for very real existential reasons.
You